me like that.
Hey everybody, it's Aaronator here, and we got our NHL mock draft here, and I got AJ.
What's up? Draft's only 4 hours away.
That's gonna be hype. Guys, let's go. I want to get right into this, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting, so we're gonna start off straight away. I'm just gonna go right into my opinions, say why it makes sense for the team, and basically, yeah, we'll just
All
start
right.
off.
So first overall pick goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they are going to pick with their number 1 pick, Connor McMatthews.
No. But anyways, yes, guys, it's pretty much unanimous. You knew this was going to happen. Austin Matthews, obviously, is going to go to Toronto.
Yes.
No doubt about it. They need a center, a top-line center. They do have Mitch Marner and Nylander, but they played on the wing, so it's okay. And even at that, you can always trade a center just because you just don't want too many. But, I mean, you look at Pittsburgh, they got Malkin on their second line. Or third line, actually, now, because now apparently Nick Bonino's too good for them. Anyways. Yeah.
Okay. So pick number 2 goes to the Winnipeg Jets, and they're going to be picking Patrick Lane.
The big Finnish right winger, 6'4", 209. That is huge. And guys, I was not too high on this guy before, just because he came out of nowhere. If the guy's out of nowhere, I don't know about him. By the time he gets to the draft, if I've read enough about him and watched enough and listened enough, then I'll know more about him and I'll be okay with teams like that. And I mean, if scouts are comparing this guy to Alex Ovechkin, he must be decent. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it makes sense for Winnipeg because they lost Andrew Ladd, especially that captaincy material. I don't know if Lane, apparently he had some attitude issues before, something about threatening his coach he was going to kill him. But
logic, long flip.
Yeah.
Wasted.
But I mean, it makes yeah, I'm sorry, that was really awkward. But anyways, yeah, Lane, it just
makes sense.
You got to take the I mean, Puljujarvi's good, but you know what? Lane's going to go to Winnipeg.
Hey, guess what? There's a new Crosby and Ovechkin. McDavid's the new Crosby, Lane's the new Ovechkin. Just saying that.
Boom.
All right.
Matthews, no Taves.
Oh, dang.
That makes so much sense.
Yes, it makes so much sense now. Okay, so Columbus gets the 3rd overall pick, and they're going to obviously get, hopefully, Jesse Puljujarvi.
Yes, the other Finnish superstar helped out with Lane to take Finn's gold medal at the World Juniors this past season. That was very impressive. And you know what? Puljujarvi, comparisons to
Anze Kopitar.
That was way too long. But I'm just riffing AJ here. So
it took me a while to digest what you're asking me.
Okay. But yeah, Jesse Puljujarvi, he has a lot of different elements that you got to like about his game. He's a good two-way guy. He still has a pretty good shot, so he can help you out there. He's got lots of skill, lots of things to like about this guy. And I mean, Columbus in the end is getting a really good player, a good forward. They could use a center, but I mean, they didn't win the 1st overall pick, so they're out of luck. There are possibilities that they've said that Dubois gets the 3rd overall, goes to the Columbus Blue Jackets, or to Chuck because John Tortorella likes that kind of a player, or they trade the pick. So there's lots of stuff that could happen, but in my opinion, it makes sense. They're gonna take Puljujarvi.
All right, so the Oilers get the 4th round pick, and they're hopefully they don't draft like a Yakupov or something like that. So what they're going to be drafting is Matthew Tkachuk.
The 4th overall pick, not round, boy.
Did I say round?
You said round.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. So many people get that wrong. It makes me so mad, but you know what? Whatever. The 4th overall pick. The Oilers, by the way, guys, I wanted to let you know, I'm not doing any trades. Whatever happened since the Frederik Andersen trade for draft picks-wise, anything after this, I missed it. I'll probably do my own little extra moves, like last-minute changes, who I think the team will draft when the draft is on. But otherwise, these are what is right now, basically. Mm-hmm. So I'm not making any potential trades. I may give you some teams that could trade their pick, and I definitely think that Columbus and Edmonton are the most likely out of the top 5 to move their pick. Probably most likely Edmonton because they want that defense. But I mean, Matthew Tkachuk, the thing you gotta like about him is he did play with Austin Matthews, proving he can play with top-notch talent. He's big enough that you would pick him over Dubois. He's a solid size. He's a net presence. One thing not maybe to enjoy too much about him is his skating. That's the one downside to him. But I mean, that's what they said about John Tavares, right? Boy, look at where he is today. So I think it makes sense for the Oilers to take Tkachuk, and that will leave us with the Canucks pick.
Yo, Vancouver Canucks, they're going to pick Dubois.
Pierre-Luc Dubois, the left wing.
That's so bad.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. You were trying to get that suspense. It's all good. Yeah. But Pierre-Luc Dubois, the number 5 pick, he can play all forward positions. He's big. He's exactly what Benning wants. Benning had about 6 players in mind. I have the idea of them. It's the top 5 forwards that are available: Matthews, Lane, Puljujarvi, Tkachuk, Dubois, and Julevi, because he said, I remember hearing him, that the Canucks... or he said that he believes that there is one defenseman that they feel is the best, that they feel that there's only one defenseman that can become a number 1 defenseman, and that is likely, in my opinion, the guy who he said that he did like earlier on, and that's Olli Julevi. So, honestly, I disagree. I think Sergachev could be that number 1 guy. But, I mean, you never know. Just wait a couple years. But I do believe that the Canucks are going to take Dubois. It makes most sense. And I think they will take Tkachuk if Oilers take Dubois. Either way, Canucks are getting a great forward. And like Benning said multiple times, we're getting a good player. But still trading away all of our second-round picks. Yeah. Okay.
So, number 6 goes to the Calgary Flames, and they are going to steal Alexander Nylander.
Anyways, yeah, they're going to take that super Swede, man. He's in Mississauga. They got a stacked team. But you know what? It don't matter because he's racking up lots of points. 57 games played with 75 points. He's an offensive dynamo. We got lots of things to like about him. Honestly, I said that Arizona and Toronto were going to exchange first and 7 picks. Possibly, just to make it all perfect, the Nylanders play together and Matthews goes to his hometown of Arizona. It works all perfectly, but Toronto's not stupid. They're keeping Matthews. Yep. So, honestly, that would be only if Nylander dropped past Calgary. But I think if Calgary isn't getting one of the top 5 guys, they need a forward. They could get Logan Brown. That's the one other guy I'd say, because I think their defense is solid. They got lots of guys like Shillington and Rasmus Anderson in their farm system, along with Dougie Hamilton, TJ Brody. Giordano still got a couple years. They're set. I really do see them taking... Nylander, because they do another skilled winger there. They could use another big guy, but I think this works out for them.
So you got Dad Boys Arizona going to pick up the number 7, and they're going to pick Olli Julevi.
Julevi, you said that nicely perfect. I like that. But, yes, Olli Julevi will drop to the Arizona Coyotes. He is the most consistent, safest defenseman, and Arizona... They're looking for a guy, and I mean, any one of these top 3 guys, Olli Julevi, Mikhail Sergachev, or Jakub Chychrun, could all be a top-notch defenseman. They could all be top-notch defensemen. But you know what? I think Arizona goes with the defenseman that a lot of guys have liked, and I think they'll like this guy, Olli Julevi. Makes sense.
He's a London Knights, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like the London Knights.
Yeah, they only have Max Domi and Jakub Dvorak. What? Christian Dvorak, and also... They want to check, so I mean, they like them Knights.
Yeah. Number 8 goes to the Buffalo Sabres, and they're going to pick the really weird name, Mikhail Sergachev.
There you go. You know what? I honestly thought you were gonna say that perfect, and then you're just like, I give up. I'm not even gonna attempt this. But yeah, I think it makes sense for Sergachev. He's the most NHL ready guy. I could see anywhere. The top 2 guys I think are obviously Sergachev and Julevi. I think that they could go either way, 7 or 8. They could even move higher. I could see Julevi or Sergachev being put in Edmonton's spot. They're both great defensemen. Sergachev has a bit more offensive upside and a bit more size, I think. And I think that's why he's also a perfect fit for Buffalo, because that offensive defenseman to help them out. Really, I mean, Rasmus Ristolainen, I didn't actually know he was getting that many points. He had like 40 points, but I mean... Partially that could be because he's given all the pucks to Jack Eichel. But, I mean, Sergachev helps out with that offense, and I think that'll really help put Buffalo over the top these next couple of years. So, yeah, Mikhail Sergachev.
All right, so Montreal has the 9th overall pick, and they're going to be picking defenseman Jakub Chicherin.
Jakub Chicherin is going to go 9th to Montreal. I say this because he is, without a doubt, probably one of the best prospects, like, I guess you could call blue chip talent available. And I was reading this thing in this magazine, in the draft preview magazine, and it says right here, quote unquote, it happened to Cam Fowler, it happened to Philip Forsberg, and it will probably happen with Chychrun, because for whatever reason, ends up one player for some reason always ends up dropping in the first round. I mean, that also happened by Tyler Benson, but we're just saying like down by like 10 spots or so out of the top 5. And Chychrun, I think, is still that good, really good defenseman. I think Montreal needs a defenseman. I do think they need a forward, but I think there's a lot of different guys they could pick from. I think they could pick Jost. They could pick Logan Brown, definitely is an option. But I think they picked Chychrun because their defense, I think, in my opinion, needs more help. They don't have too many other defensive prospects aside from Julison. And the one thing that you look at Montreal is, I mean, they could sign some forwards. There's lots of forwards in free agency this year. They could take up a big a big scoring forward like Lucic or Ladd with, I mean, not focused on offense, but brings them size and the offensive ability that they want to have in their top 6, which I think will help them out. So I think they can, with free agency and possibly even trades, Montreal is... Never know.
Stamkos.
You never know. But I think it makes sense for them to go with a defenseman in Chychrun.
All right, so the 10th overall pick goes to Colorado, and they're going to pick Max Jones
from
London.
And they are going to pick this guy because it makes perfect sense. They need forwards with Jerome McGinley getting into likely retirement in a couple years here. I mean, maybe he goes like Yager. Maybe he goes like Gordie Howe. He wants to go till the 60. Boom. But Max Jones brings physical presence and an offensive presence that Colorado could really use in the Western Conference, and it just makes the most sense, I think.
Yes, and number 11 goes to New Jersey, and they're going to pick from the British Columbia Hockey League, Tyson Jost.
Yes, Tyson Jost, one of the 3 potential first-rounders from the BCHL. This could be the first time ever. That's impressive.
Oh, yes.
You know what? I like the Jost. I really do like, personally. A lot of guys compare him to Taves. I don't think he'll get that good, but offensively, he got lots of offense, again, in a junior A league, but I think Jost really does have an overall game that New Jersey really could use, and obviously they have Adam Henrique, who's probably, he might be a bit bigger. I don't actually remember how big Henrique is, but I mean, he's more of a two-way presence too. You can never have too many of those two-way guys, and I think Jost provides a bit more offense than Henrique does, and I think Jost could be that first-line center that New Jersey needs. And, I mean, honestly, I think it's a 3-way pick between McLeod, Jost, and Keller for them because, I mean, all 3 of those centers have size, and, well, Keller is the only exception, but he has phenomenal skill. Logan Brown even possibly, but I mean, there's just so many centers. They're going to pick one of those 4 centers, Brown, Keller, Jost, or McLeod. I guarantee you it.
Yeah.
And that's that.
All right, so Ottawa has the 12th pick, and they're going to pick Logan Brown.
From the Windsor Spitfires, 6'6", Joe Thornton wannabe. He is supposed to be considered a playmaker. He didn't get too many goals, 21 goals in 59 games for Windsor. He is probably one of the few guys in this in the higher first round that could go higher even. Like, again, I could see him, the highest he could go is up to Vancouver, unfortunately. More likely Calgary. I think Vancouver, no matter what, takes one of the top 5 guys. But Logan Brown really could go up to 6, and he could drop as far as 20, depending on what teams are looking for, because those big guys are unpredictable. If they can't keep up with the players of today's NHL, unless they have literally phenomenal everything else physical. Yeah, sure. Logan Brown, I mean, even for his size, he's not overly physical, from what I've heard, so that may not be the greatest. I mean, he has solid skill, it seems, so it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I think Ottawa could use another big guy like him, and I think if he turns out to be a good player, As long as they don't trade him like they did with Chara, then I think they'll be okay, and I think this could be a solid guy for them to pick up.
All right, for the 13th overall pick, Carolina is going to pick centerman Michael McLeod.
Yeah, something like that.
Kind of a weird name.
Yeah. I think it makes sense for Carolina because he brings size, he brings skill, and especially speed. It's one of definitely his strengths apparently. So, the speed could really help them become a team like Pittsburgh. Win that cup, boy.
Bill Kessel. All right, here we go. Okay, so Boston is going to have the 14th overall pick, and they're going to pick defenseman Charlie McAvoy.
Now this makes sense because, as it's known, Charlie McAvoy is in Boston. Yeah, something like
Massachusetts.
that. He plays in Boston U, so apparently that's their backyard or something. So I mean, all the scouting, all the scouts and mock drafts that I've read, a lot of them say Charlie McAvoy goes to Boston. I think the fit makes sense. He's right-handed defenseman. They are missing some of those. They only really have McQuaid, and he's just a goon. Right. But honestly, I think it makes sense for them in lots of different ways. So yeah, I think they take Charlie.
All right, so the 15th overall pick goes to the Minnesota frickin' Wild, and they're going to pick left winger Kiefer Bellows.
Why you say frickin'?
I don't know.
You just calm down. Minnesota's a nice place. They're a nice place. But you know what? There's probably gonna be that one person from Minnesota that's just like, have you seen my backyard? It sucks with a bunch of hobos or something. I don't know.
Rip hobos.
Rip people in Minnesota.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think, by the way, guys, I did want to get this out there. We're halfway now. And if you already noticed, for you Colorado fans, I'm sorry, I did go a bit less on Max Jones. I want to try and get this video going and going and going. I want to get it done, and not have it super long. So yeah.
48 minutes.
What?
48 minutes, like an hour. We're going. Move on. Let's go.
No, yeah, whatever. So Kiefer Bellows, he brings size and he brings skill and he brings definitely a great shot. He had 50 goals in 62 games for the USA
NTPD police station.
NTDP, yeah, sure.
NTPD.
And I mean, getting 50 goals in any league, that's pretty. Unless it's like Bantam House hockey, then it's pretty challenging. So, I mean, even that, unless you have tremendous skill.
All right, so the 16th overall pick goes to Detroit, and it's going to go to Clinton Keller.
Yes, he brings so much skill that Detroit is missing with Datsuk. And, I mean, he could be their new Magic Man. I think it makes sense. He's a bit undersized, but, I mean, he will grow. So, and he will learn to use his size to advantage. And, I mean, I think, you know what, he's definitely a guy to watch with all that skill.
All right, so the 17th overall pick goes to the Nashville Predators, and we believe that they're going to pick Jake Bean.
Yes. Now, Jake Bean also was said by some people to go to Detroit. Again, he's sort of riskier because it's amazing. He had 64 points, 24 goals, 40 assists in 68 games with the Calgary Hitmen this year as a defenseman. And that's definitely not easy to do. And you can take it from a real defenseman. Nathan would say otherwise. But I'm the one who shuts him down anyway, so. You know what? That really wasn't that funny anyways. But the reason that Nashville would get Jake Bean, he brings an offense that Shea Weber will possibly be missing in a couple of years. I mean, honestly, I think he will be probably playing until he's 40 or something. He'll play for a long time. But my point is, Nashville likes their defenseman. They're going to take this defenseman because they like him. Again, Detroit could have taken a defenseman. I really do think they could take Jake Bean. There's a player, a Russian, one of the few Russians going in the first, possibility Russians going in the first round. Centerman German Rubtsov, I definitely think is also another candidate. A lot of people say because he's Russian and he's center and he's great defensive two-way game, and a solid amount of skill, just like Datsuk. And I mean, I could see Rubtsov going as high as Detroit, probably even. I don't think any higher than that, but I mean, yeah, again, Detroit is going to be interesting to see because they know their prospects. We don't know these guys to the back of our heads, so yeah.
All right. So the 18th overall pick goes to the Philadelphia Flyers, Julian Gutierrez, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Suck at pronouncing names.
It's okay.
This is a weird draft. So.
Yeah, everybody's going to be mispronouncing names like Steve Iserman. So, Ryan, what? No. Julian Gauthier is 6'4", 225 pounds, and he has a lot of offense in him. In 54 games with Valdor, he had 41 goals, 16 assists for 57 points. Lots of offense. His skating it's good for a 6'4" player. So as long as he can keep up with guys and continue to get some offense and see if he can provide at that next level, I think this makes perfect sense for Philadelphia.
Exactly. 19th overall pick goes to the Islanders, and they're going to pick right wing Alex DeBrincat. DeBrincat. Got that one.
After 4 tries. The one thing that I love, and when I'm gonna say my dad helped me out on this one, and he said, if a guy is 5'7" and he has 73 penalty minutes in 68 games, take him.
Yes,
because obviously, that was actually in his season with McDavid. He does have a bit of attitude problems, I think, but I mean. Some players will have that, but I mean he has tremendous skill. Obviously, playing on a high offense team with guys like Dylan Strome and McDavid in his first year, he had 104 points in his first year, 101 in his second. Both years getting 51 goals, and I mean this guy has tremendous skill that could definitely help out a guy like say John Tavares.
Ooh,
never know.
So the 20th overall pick is going to the Arizona Agains, their second pick of this round, and they're going to pick Dante Fabro from the BCHL.
Another BCHL player from the same team, the Penticton Vs. Fabro, right-handed, has some offensive skill to him. He has a solid size, solid all-around defender. Arizona needs a right-handed D. It makes lots of sense for them. They take Fabro.
All right, number 21 goes to the Carolina Hurricanes, and they're going to pick centerman Luke Kunin. Frick.
That's what I mean. You could be nailing all of them, and I don't know. But Kunin, he's 6 foot, 196. He's a good. I mean, this guy it compares him to Mike Fisher with more offense. I honestly compare him to a centerman with a bit more skill, Yannick Hansen. I mean, more skill, less speed. But I mean, for his size, I think he's an energy player, and he brings a solid offensive game and a solid defensive game, it seems. And I think it makes sense for Carolina to again take another centerman because you can never have too many centermen. You can never have too many prospects. So I mean, being deep in one position is good, and I think Luke Kunin is definitely a guy from a college. So Carolina has been going the college route a lot recently. They like their college players, but I think it makes sense for them, definitely.
All right, the second 20 pick number 22 goes to the Winnipeg Jets, Jermaine Rubtsov.
Rubtsov. Yeah. Yeah.
I freaking nuked that.
That was actually a great way to say that, because you did. Centerman German Rubtsov, again, the Russian I said, he could definitely go higher. He could go lower maybe because, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he goes much lower. I think Winnipeg, with the depth they have, needs to get a solid guy like this, a safe pick. He honestly is definitely one of the underrated guys. Like, this is the Dylan Larkin of the draft. Ooh, yes. I don't know, maybe not Dylan Larkin. Maybe that's a bit high, but I mean, Rubtsov, he has a solid, steady two-way guy. There's a lot of things to like about him. He has a solid skill, and I mean, he seems to be able to play a lot in a lot of different situations. So I think it makes sense for at least Winnipeg, maybe if not a team higher, to take this Russian center.
All right, gotta get hype on this one, boys. Number 23 goes to the Florida Panthers, centerman Cliff Poo.
You gotta love that name. But Cliff Poo played for the London Knights, underrated guy. Honestly, I like to make comparisons, guys, and I'm going to say Cliff Poo is probably the Zach Senyshyn. So, of this draft, if some team comes in at 15, if Minnesota comes in at 15 and says they want to draft Cliff Poo, Guys, don't underestimate him just because, obviously there's the name. That's awesome. But he played second line in London, but he was really, he has a solid size. He didn't get, he only got 31 points in 63 games. I definitely could see him going in the second round. I could also see him going higher in the first round. He's the Senyshyn of this draft. He could go high, he could go low. It depends where teams have him on their radar, and I think Florida will take a chance on this guy.
All right, the 24th pick is going to go to the Anaheim Ducks, and they're going to pick left wing Riley Tuff.
And he's 6'5". This guy played in a high school, so I'm wondering if that's necessarily the right way. But according to this magazine, without a doubt, he is a first rounder. It says. I was also considering, because he played in a college. He did have a couple stints with a college, I believe, Fargo. I think it makes sense. If he is considered to be a guaranteed, if without a doubt he's a first rounder according to Scout, and he had 78 points and 47 goals in 25 games at the high school, and he was a captain. He seems to be a good leader. He's 6'5", 190 pounds. That seems like a guy Anaheim would take. If they high on him, I think it makes sense for them.
All right, so we're getting down to the bottom 5, and pick number 25 is going to go to the Dallas Stars, right wing Nathan Bastian. I am very proud to say that Bastian goes to Dallas because he has size. The one thing that you got to worry about him is his skating, definitely. And but the one thing that makes sense, he's a right winger. He's big, help in that Western Conference. Dallas could use a forward with Spezza and Sharp nearing the end of their careers in their later 30s. And I think it makes sense for Bastian because, two guys that they could play with. He's known to play with top line guys, or to play with. He can play with top notch talent, and I think that makes sense considering that Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin are considered top notch talent. I think it makes sense for them to take Bastian. I could see him going later, especially with his skating, and I could see Dallas taking a different guy. A couple different guys, maybe some other guys with more, I guess, speed and skill. But I think Dallas would be high on this guy. I think he's good. All right, pick number 26 goes to the Washington Capitals, and they're going to pick right wing Vitaly Abramov.
You're adding all these extra names. Abramosadov. You're just adding you're just adding in all these extra stuff.
Because they're freaking weird names.
Yeah.
Why can't there just be McDavid or Pooh?
Yeah, that was so okay. So Abramov makes sense because Washington, they got a couple years with their strong team. He can get bigger. He can learn to play the NHL game. He has lots of skill. He's a Russian. He's a good goal scorer. He had 93 points in 63 games, 38 goals, 55 assists. With all that skill and speed, his size won't be an issue at 5'9", 170 pounds. He'll be fine. He'll develop in Washington, and I think it makes sense for them, especially with, Ovechkin is he is in his 30s, I think, right now, 30, 31, somewhere around there, and I think this could make sense in the future.
All right, so number 27 is going to go to Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're going to pick Marcus Niemelen.
Marcus... I'm not even going to argue with that. That's a difficult name. He's 6'6", 205 pounds. Another Finnish player. Lots of Finns in this draft entirely. And the reason that they like this guy is also with the potential loss of Victor Hedman. I think Victor Hedman's the only guy that they won't lose guaranteed. Well, nothing's guaranteed, but I think Hedman's the only guy that they wouldn't want to lose. Top-notch defenseman, one of their only best, really good defenseman, plays tons of minutes. But in case that happens, and also for depth on their blue line, Marcus Niemelainen makes sense, especially for guys like Suster and Coburn if they lose them due to cap, the expansion draft, free agency when their contracts are up, or when they retire. I think Suster's pretty young, though, still. But I think it makes sense. I think they're going to like this defenseman. He seems to have a good amount of skill and speed for a 6'6" player, and I think it makes sense.
All right, we're going down to the bottom 3. Number 28 goes to the St. Louis Blues centerman Pascal Laberge.
And never know. I think they're Laberge. Yeah, you know what? I'm not.
Let's just talk about him.
Yeah. He has a solid size. According to this, it said he's chippy. He's got a little FU in him. So I think that seems like the kind of player that St. Louis would want. in the Western Conference and losing a guy like Backus. I mean, Backus is a good team guy, and I'm sure Asplund is probably decent. But I mean, with that kind of mentality and in the Pacific, guy going up against teams in the Pacific Division or Central, LaBerge seems to make sense.
All right, number 29, second last goes to the Boston Bruins centerman, Rapsnus Alpud.
Rasmus Asplund. The Swede is he's a bit smaller, but honestly, guys, you guys did not know this. You may not believe me. I don't care whether you believe me or not. I'm proud to say this. Last year, I predicted that Anthony Beauvillier was going to go in the first round. I didn't know where. I think he was going to. I just thought he would. The scouts said if this guy were 2 inches taller, he'd be like 6 foot or something, then he would be without a doubt a first rounder. And I thought because he was a captain for when he was the other captain in the prospects game with McDavid, like this guy, he's got, and I mean, he had like 40 goals in his draft season. It made so much sense. Like someone's going to take him in the first round. And I think Asplund is that guy. Because of his size, he's underrated, but he works hard. He has a lot of, he has a good all-round game to like, and I think Boston would definitely like to add this guy to their prospect pool.
All right, the last pick of this draft in this video, the last first round, Anaheim Ducks are going to pick a name that I could pronounce, Sam Steele.
The centerman from the Regina Pats. He was supposed to go a lot deeper, but Anaheim with this pick, I don't see them taking a goalie because Gibson is 21. I did consider that a lot. They could use another goalie in case Gibson doesn't produce or something happens. Injuries, you never know. Anything could happen. He could die like Luke Boudon. But you never know. But Sam Steele makes sense because he has that offense that I think. This is definitely one of the ones that is a bit riskier, and I don't mind making up a risk. Sam Steele has the offensive ability and the skill and the speed and lots of stuff to like about him. He could grow. He's only 5'11", 176 pounds, but I think Anaheim could be intrigued with him. He has a lot of stuff to like about him. They got a couple years to see how he can develop, and I think it makes sense for Anaheim considering Getzlaf and Perry ending their careers soon.
All right, that's the end of this video, but just wait. Aaron's got something to say.
I wanted to end it off.
Oh, okay,
but,
cool.
It's all good. I didn't want you to just be like, okay, bye, done.
Leave that subscribe. Click that subscribe button if you like it, because Aaron put a lot of work into this. He just went beast mode. It's insane. So
I appreciate that. Thanks. There's a lot of guys that could go higher. I think guys are saying Tage Thompson. Personally, I could see a guy like one of these 3 defensemen, Clegg, Johansson, or Shalowski, even Hajek. I don't think Hajek, actually. He's a bit more too defensive. Just my opinions on some of the guys going a bit after the rounds. Taylor Radish played with the Erie Otters. He could go a bit higher, but I don't see it. He has a good size, but playing with a guy like Strome, you got to wonder if all those points were just because of Strome and DeBrincat. Gustafsson and Hart, the 2 goalies, I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's
you never know, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never know.
There's one guy that is supposed to go a bit higher that was a lot higher that was supposed to be in there, and I think this is, again, I like making comparisons to last draft. Brendan Carlo, you might have remembered him from last year, was taken later in the second round by Boston. Logan Stanley, a bit bigger, left shot defenseman, 6'6", 216 pounds, on the Windsor Spitfires. All he did was get 5 goals, 17 points in 64 games, and 103 penalty minutes. Why would you want to take that guy in the first round? That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. Again, he's 6'6". You never know. Triumkin. So, guys, that's that. Let me know what you guys think of my mock draft. Did you enjoy it? Do you think there's some changes? Obviously, there's much more guys. Tyler Benson, will he move up? Tage Thompson, will he move up? There's lots of different possibilities. I know some of you guys maybe have lived in these towns that these junior guys have played in. I'm sure lots of them are great. It's going to be a nice draft. I'm excited for this year. I'm actually more excited for the trades that are going to happen. I think there's going to be something big happening.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe Edmonton.
You never know.
But guys, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else I need to add on to that. It was a bit of a longer video than I hoped, but you know what? I hope that you got enough information for your team. I would go in more depth. I know some of you guys, it's just like, Colorado should have got more. I don't know. Whatever. I like all NHL teams, even though I don't like Boston, Chicago.
I'm sorry for butchering the names, just saying.
Yeah. Sorry for butchering the names. Sorry butchering the teams. We like all of them. We love hockey. That's all we got to say. But anyways, guys, that's it. Have yourselves a good day. And I hope you guys enjoyed this mock draft video. Anyways, guys.
Drafting.
Yeah, happy drafting. I'll say that because that is awesome. Anyways, guys. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys at the draft.
Peace.
Woo!
Do that in a while. Jeez.
Yeah, that was beauty.